Hello and welcome to the channel. Today we re-looking at a revolution that gave birth to a new nation, the American Revolution. Imagine you're living in the 1700s. You're one of the 3 million people who have left Europe and settled in the 13 British colonies in North America. Life is good. The colonies are growing rapidly, and people like you are enjoying more freedom and opportunity than you ever could have back in Europe. But there's a problem. You and the other colonists are starting to get a little bit too big for Britain's boots. The British government is starting to worry about the growing power of its American colonies, so it passes laws to make the colonies more dependent on Britain. And when the colonists protest, Britain responds by sending soldiers to put down the rebellion. Tensions are rising, and things are about to get very uncomfortable. Let's go to the next. In the mid-1700s, the 13 colonies were becoming increasingly discontented with British rule. Britain had been taxing the colonists without giving them any representation in Parliament. They had no voice in the laws that governed them. Colonists were also angry about other restrictions placed on them by the British government, such as the prohibition on westward expansion. In 1765, the British Parliament passed the Stamp Act, which required colonists to pay a tax on all printed materials. This was the first direct tax the British government had levied on the colonies. Colonists responded by launching a boycott of British goods. The tax was eventually repealed in 1766, but tensions between the colonies and Britain continued to rise. In 1773, the British East India Company was in serious trouble. Its monopoly on tea sales was costing it money. To save the company, the British government passed the Tea Act, which allowed the company to sell tea directly to the colonists, without paying the usual taxes. This act was the last straw for the colonists. They saw the Tea Act as an attempt by the British government to control their economy, and they resisted. On December 16, 1773, a group of colonists known as the Sons of Liberty snuck onto 3 ships carrying tea and dumped 92,000 pounds of tea into Boston Harbor. This event, which became known as the Boston Tea Party, was a major turning point in the relationship between the colonies and Britain. It showed that the colonists were willing to take drastic measures to resist British rule. Britain responded to the Boston Tea Party with a series of harsh laws designed to punish the colonists. These laws, which became known as the Intolerable Acts, closed the port of Boston, placed the Massachusetts government under British control, and allowed British soldiers to be tried in Britain for crimes committed in the colonies. With tensions at an all-time high, conflict between the colonies and Britain became unavoidable. In April 1775, fighting broke out between British soldiers and colonial militiamen at Lexington and Concord. These battles, which became known as the Battles of Lexington and Concord, are considered to be the first of the Revolutionary War. A year later, on July 4, 1776, the 13 colonies officially declared their independence from Britain. The document which declared their independence was written by Thomas Jefferson and is today known as the Declaration of Independence. The Revolutionary War was long and difficult. The colonists, who were led by General George Washington, faced a powerful British army and navy. But the colonists were determined to win their freedom. With determination, home advantage, and support from France, the colonists gradually turned the tide. In 1781, the British surrendered at Yorktown. 2 years later, on September 3, 1783, the Treaty of Paris was signed, officially ending the war, and the United States of America was born. The American Revolution was a watershed moment in history. It showed that ordinary people could stand up to a powerful empire and fight for their rights. It also inspired movements for democracy around the world. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe for more short history stories.